Hey guys, so welcome to my personal presentation. Um, I was just tweaking it so I can give you a more up-to-date presentation. So let's get to it. So yeah. I entitle my personal presentation as my zeitgeist because it's my moment, it's how things are going, and everything that made me what I am today to this moment, right? So it's my status quo per se. If you are whatever you want to access this presentation, pause now, take your phone and scan this QR code, okay, so you'll be able to access this presentation. Access it is online, so you can see it as much as you want. It may look different, I'm not gonna lie. Why? Because it's constantly updating. Sorry, I had to take my coffee there. Can't live without it. So, who I am? I am a curious person. You know, I like to take software in my day-to-day, my life, right? I take my time tweaking software, making it different, changing it, seeing the boundaries of software, integrations and stuff like that. As an example I like to give is this presentation I'm using, the software. It was not made out of the bat to, for example, embed full applications inside itself, okay? But how did I do it with iframes? Not every website will work because not every website is compatible with an iframe, but being displayed in iframe. But my personal website, for example, I have this portfolio page that may change in the future because it's a little bit outdated, but just to show you what I like to do in my free time. I do tweak software like that. Let me move this to another page so we can have this kind of view. Okay, that was automatically switching. Let's move on. So I love to build useful little apps. As an example, here is a video of me showing I very frequent sorry for that. Very frequently I make posts in LinkedIn showing my website, how it's working, the projects I'm working in. So here I had just built a website that can go through paywalls in almost any website, basically. So you can read your text, and it's totally legal because you are using the power of links, a text-based browser. Sorry, it's text-based, so it doesn't use JavaScript, and most paywalls will be broken, and you can just read the text. Anyways, you can see this application also being explained, how you use Docker and other DevOps related techniques to ship it. This is in my YouTube. I go into depths of how I did the application, the architecture, the microservices, and the Docker and the DigitalOcean release. Okay, so how did I get here, right? How I became a software engineer, which I work with. I'm self-taught. Okay, I haven't gone through a formal education in computer science. I am a engineer physicist by formation. I graduated in 2023. 2022 I finished my studies, but only graduated in 2023 in the University of São Paulo. Okay, the most is the biggest, the best university in Latin America according to international rankings. Okay, so in terms of software development, I learned through documentations, books, video courses, and of course people's shared experience. And what do I mean by that? I like to watch other people's tutorials, or just developers giving their opinions in live streams or stuff like that, right? It's pretty common. So throughout the years I absorbed that. Okay, but I'm a thriving programmer. Why? I worked in industries small and big in Brazil. Okay, I crafted some solutions mainly involving backend. My latest job was 90% front end, but I had also to pretty heavily interact with the backend, tweak some endpoints. So I will go through what I did throughout my jobs, and I have been working full stack for 2 years now. Here's my GitHub page. This one is a little bit more recent snapshot, but you can access it right now. When I was still working in factory, I'm not working there anymore. So in the programming aspect, right, I am a ClojureScript developer mainly. That's my forte, because it's very easy to create full stack websites, applications, because you are using both Java and JavaScript with the same syntax through Clojure, right? So same syntax for the client and the backend, right? Server and client. You can do some awesome things. You can use all the JVM ecosystem, the Java virtual machine ecosystem. You can also use the JavaScript ecosystem, the npm packages, React, or anything you like. You can use pretty straightforward in ClojureScript. Okay, and you can integrate both parts, both ends. Okay, I have a fundamental knowledge. Before specializing myself, I also work with haven't worked with Go applications so far in industry, a Go based backend, but I am doing an MBA in that. Hopefully this year I'll be working with Go. But yeah, first off, I use Emacs as my text editor. Okay, a little bit uncommon for someone my age, I know, but we will get into that. I use Linux. I have gone through Arch, Debian, and other distributions like Manjaro, which is Arch based. I have used Geeks, which is Common Lisp version of Linux interfaces. You can use Linux in a desktop environment built on Common Lisp. Anyhow, so I have some Linux foundations there. Have been using Linux as my desktop computer system for about 6 years. Okay, so I also have did some of bash scripting with Go and Python. I have created scripts which help myself in time management, Pomodoro techniques, and stuff like that. Okay, taking notes for myself. I use a Python script with bash and Go to fetch audio from, for example, what's the name of that's a famous English dictionary which they have a website. Yeah, I think it's Cambridge Dictionary, and I fetch the English accent for a audio for a given word, and I can do that through a script in my terminal. So I have did in scripting with those languages for a bit. I have done some HTML, CSS, and JavaScript projects, vanilla, very straightforward, before becoming a full stack developer, right? I also have worked with Git. All my work is in Git. For the past 6 years, more than 100 projects there. Okay, and also I love coffee. I know how to prepare some coffee. Okay, can't live without it. I also have some numerical computing background when I was in the University of São Paulo. Also have done some freelancing related to data science. We will explore more that. So while I was in the university, I was solving ODEs, ordinary differential equations, and partial differential equations, ODEs and PDEs. I also have worked a lot with multivariate statistics. So if you need some data science, a developer that knows a little bit of data science, I know quite a bit actually of statistics. I can work with that. Throughout those years, I use a lot of Julia, Python, and R. Okay, and here are some of the repositories doing hypothesis testing, machine learning with R. So here's the neural network I created while I was doing statistics. Okay, so I am an engineer physicist, as I have stated, and you can check those out with time. Okay, I am native of Brazil. I speak Portuguese. I have English of a C2 range English certification, right? I have the EFS certification. They use the Cambridge system, so it's C2, 78 points out of 100. I can basically understand anything you throw at me. I am a basic Mandarin speaker. I can order food, say hello, goodbye, stuff like that. I am also learning Russian currently. Okay, so that's about it. Jobs. So how have I started? So I did started working in Lupo SA, which is a company in Brazil. I didn't directly work under them. I was working with a third party, and we were working for Lupo, writing technical reports. I did an automation job for my client. Okay, so I solved the given problem. We had more than 300 machines, 5 or 6 different sectors in the company, and each sector had different machines. It is a industry, right? So they work with textures based company, clothings, mainly underwear, masks and stuff like that. Okay, I use Clojure, which was not the best choice at the time, to do that automation together with LaTeX. So here is the code. I wrote a library to work with Bash and Clojure in the terminal. Also, so I could write some scripts that would do the following. So I have like a folder with all the photos we took of those machinery, and I had to rename them with a given logic. Okay, and here you can see I'm using Clojure syntax, Lisp syntax, like the parentheses stuff. Also, I'm using bash commands like list files. I'm piping that output to Clojure commands using map and some functions I created. And yeah, basically I created scripts to automate the job of creating reports and PDFs. I also helped in the ground, let's say. Okay, I helped taking the picture of each and every machine in that company. Afterwards, that was like a freelancing job. It was my internship while I was in university. I was a little bit younger back then. I worked then in Flow Finance, which you can see that it's a company. It was a startup. I don't know if they are still alive, so to speak. I did a clearance and ledgering job, an endpoint that would automate billing data. And finally I would spill out a new CSV with data that they could use to build a PDF. Okay, so I wrote a library that's called CSV CLJ, which you can open CSV using this library, do some common operations, translate CSV data into Clojure data structures, so you can do some some filtering like I'm doing here, right? For example, I'm searching for a given CNPJ, which is like the company's ID, so to speak. Okay, so here is the exact same example, and you can I don't know, query the CSV data, and they would use this library, this endpoint, to generate new data that then would generate a lot of PDFs. Okay, basically billing people. Then I worked at Café do Bem as it's a non-profit organization. I worked as a volunteer. Okay, it was not my day job or full-time job. Okay, it's just like collaboration. They sold high quality coffee, and basically their mission was to revert the gains back to the agriculture coffee community. Okay, the idea is to make it possible that those people that generally have a, I don't know, not so much access to education, so on, they could have that education. For example, English, teaching English to them, English classes, teach lessons, how to use the computer to do like basic stuff. And yeah, the website I created to them, e-commerce, is right here. You can access it. So they sold their coffee through there. Here's a snapshot. Okay, then I worked at FACT, which is a acronym case for this really long name. Basically, they work with they were an autarky, so they function like private company, but they respond to governmental bodies. Okay, here is the location of their company. It's Campinas, really big, second biggest city in Brazil, if I'm not, or in São Paulo. Okay, not necessarily in Brazil. Here's a sample, one example of one of the applications I did there. This was a minoritary one, but I used mainly ClojureScript. So it was a help desk application. I don't know, it didn't load correctly here. I don't know what's happening. Either way, I can show these applications specifically later if you want to. I think the embedding didn't work here as I'm running this project, this presentation. But anyways, that was just a help desk type of in which you had frequent asked questions. You could go to solicit a support, so this would be a form page, and then you would navigate to external pages here, DuckDuckGo or IBM article. This is just mocking data. It's not the real application they used, but it's just the front end. Okay, so you can have a taste. Yeah, the other application I helped build, mainly myself and a group of software engineers, but mostly me in this part. They had accounting data, and that went through the system. Like the government would make a public call for private companies to do a certain thing, like build renewables, okay, or research renewables. Let's take this example. So these companies would, if they passed through the public call, okay, I think even before I didn't deal with this part, but they would register in the platform, and all the transit of the documents, the signing, everything would be done through the platform. And finally, the thing I worked on was an accounting type of application. It was like a microservices, although they use monolith services, monolith for everything. So I dealt with Express.js in the backend. I wrote a microservice in ClojureScript. I would generate a page as well as the formulary that was done in HTML and vanilla JavaScript and jQuery. Okay, so there the people would input the data. The microservices I created solo would then take those data, make backend calls as a client for Node.js, retrieve the data, reformat the data, and then print out a page that you could create a PDF from. Okay, so that was the application. I also worked as a contractor for many companies. Mainly, here are some of the works I did. Data analysis on binding data, binding prices. Okay, so I would basically tell the company which was a good price to make biddings in a licitation process. Okay, that was, I gathered data, I scraped data from the Brazilian government, converted XML to CSV, then used my CSV library that I developed in another job, but it's open source, that particular library. Then I would do some data analysis. Okay, so I would convert, for example, the data to CSV, as you can see here, and through a function like this, okay, that you walk through the XML and print out a CSV file. Okay, here is how the functions, the library would work, the program would work, right? And you then could use the other libraries to search, filter, gather data, do data analysis. Finally, the data analysis per se I did in Julia. So these graphs were done with Julia. I also did some statistical analysis about the health of the company, how they were doing, how they were paying the taxes, so they could write a statement saying that there was a strong correlation between their taxes and their income. So it was kind of a proof that they weren't paying their taxes as they should. Okay, so here's an example. I use Julia and interop with R. For example, doing an F test, I would use a R library. So I basically tested that hypothesis that there was a strong correlation, and yeah, there is. Okay. Some personal projects. So here is one of the first pages I ever wrote in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript pure. Okay, it was a copy of Instagram. Here's a game of matching cards. Okay, so you match the cards. Let me just give you an example. Yeah, I am horrible at this. Okay, yeah, so matching cards. There is also a counter here. Okay, after you finish it, you can restart the game. Okay. I also have a personal website which runs in Clojure on top of a Clojure engine. There are some posts here. There's a page. There was that earlier page about myself. Here is an application that I dive deep in my YouTube channel. it's called Gigin, that you can buy tickets. It was written with Reagent, which is a wrap around React.js. I also have a certifications portfolio page, so there is all my my certificates, okay, where you can see like the courses I did, my English certificate, and stuff like that. Okay, data about my yeah, courses I did throughout the years. And here's examples of, for example, Golang bash integration I use when I am using Pomodoro. The Pomodoro timer will integrate in my bar here, xmonad bar. Okay, use Go and bash to do that. I also have some scriptings that I use in Emacs to take notes, create a diary entry and stuff like that. Here's an image, for example, of many entries I have throughout the years. I have done some work in a trading bot code. This trading bot's called Frequent Trade. It's not my project per se, but I worked on this project. I collaborated in this open source project. Here's an API integration that I wrote in a challenge when I was trying to enter StartBank. Okay, so I used their SDK, Java SDK, to write Clojure backends that would make invoice calls, create invoices and stuff like that. They work in the banking industry. Here is an example of all that working in like a Postman front end, okay, showing the post, the gets, requests and stuff like that. Okay, and here is an application walkthrough. Actually, if you want to see it's not working properly, the YouTube doesn't correctly generate an iframe, but I'm about to upload all my portfolio videos. Okay, so it's already here. Maybe, no, it's not. Okay, but anyways, it's in draft mode. There will be videos that I go through each and every, or most of my web applications that I developed throughout the years. Okay, so basically you can access my channel, look for this ID. Okay, maybe, I don't know, or you can just follow, I don't know, some link that will be in my presentation, probably in this page. Okay. The next steps in my career, what I am aiming at. So I want to write meaningful software. I would like to work with things that I find meaningful. Also, my salary expectation, I know that's a hard one, you know, but it's something people ask quite frequently. You can buy my time for $2,000, okay, or around that. We can negotiate, but that's the close to the minimum I require. I would like to work in full stack with either Clojure, ClojureScript, Go, or modern JS frameworks. Please don't tell me to write vanilla JavaScript, although I can. That's no fun. We all know that. I would like to learn more about microservices. I'm doing that actively. DevOps and IT ops practices. I'm doing a lot of research in gateway APIs with Congo and Glue. Also with gateway API from Kubernetes. Basically, I want to dive deep in Kubernetes. That's my goal this year. And I would like to finish my MBA on time, maybe 4 months from now. I'm doing a MBA in Go Backend Technologies, Go Expert it's called. Okay, through Full Cycle. It's the company which gives this course. And what do I bring to the table, right? To summarize, basically, I have worked relentlessly in developing myself and growing in this section, in this job, in software development, and I am willing to learn whatever skill is needed for the job. Okay, if it's vanilla JavaScript as I have worked with, I will do it. I will propose better solutions, but if the house is on fire and you have to do that to develop to meet the deadlines, it's okay. I will do it. No questions asked. Yeah, I'm here for I am a team guy, you know. You can count on me to solve your problems. I have a different background perspective because I haven't gone through a standard software engineer education. Okay, that may be seen as a good thing, maybe as a bad thing, but remember, everything you saw until now is hard work, self-taught knowledge. Okay, I use some unusual techniques like using Emacs as my text editor. Okay, a little bit old school there. Also, I like to master cutting edge technologies, which I bring both sides of the best words, the old school and the new school technologies. And yeah, that's the integration I propose. So that's it about me. I covered, I guess, every facet one may be interested to know about myself in the industry, in software development. And if you are interested, don't hesitate to reach me out. Okay, see you, glad to meet you, let's work together.